Safari, you always want to make sure you have a large pair of tweezers and a horn to get rid of wild animals. This will scare away tigers and this will jab them. It's method acting, that, isn't it? Pretty method. Right, anyway, thank you for everyone who's bothered to check out the stuff that I put up on Bandcamp. If you're on the channel, you've probably seen some of it anyway, but I dropped the heavy stuff that I've been working on as an EP and put it on Bandcamp, and thank you to everyone who's bothered to check it out, and hopefully you get some enjoyment out of it. I'm also chucking that up on Spotify as we speak, but I don't know how long it'll take before it'll get there, and it'll be in other places as well, like Amazon and Apple Music, I think. But anyway, I wanted to speak about these things for a bit, just because it's kind of what's inspiring me at the moment. I guess it's something I've not really talked about too much, but there was certainly a chunk of my development that I was really interested in heavy music, and so I guess this starts with people like Iron Maiden and Dream Theater, but at some point there, I think on the Petrucci forums, I happened across guys like Chimp Spanner and Periphery, who I think are kind of at the forefront of this kind of thing, who kind of took inspiration from Meshuggah, who's another band that I was interested in and listened to. I've seen them live and that was amazing. But yeah, this is the kind of heavy side of the music that I've not really spoken about before, but it is stuff that I've been playing for many, many years now when I feel like it. People have occasionally said things like, that sounds like Pliny, or that sounds like whoever, more modern day. Actually, my influences probably go a bit further back than that to actually Meshuggah, Chimp Spanner and Periphery, or Bulb as he was calling himself at the time. So I was listening to that heavy stuff around then, and a band called Textures as well, you might want to check out if you're into this sort of stuff. And then more recently I've checked out a band called Sleep Token, who were produced by a guy that sort of I knew through another guy at university, and so yeah, that kind of reignited some of this inspiration and stuff. Sleep Token I'd encourage you to go and check out. They got a really cool album called Sundowning, and some of that is just super beautiful, and a whole mix from kind of ballads to really heavy stuff. But yeah, this made me think kind of Squier, to me, are like this uncrowned king in the baritone low guitar kind of realm. There's a band called Loathe who I've not checked out too much, but what I've heard I like, and I think they're produced by the same guy as Sleep Token, but they're kind of responsible for kicking off the Squier baritone Antigua finish, I think at least partly through that connection. But this was my first ever baritone guitar. I used to play 7 strings back in the day, but these days I'm more of a 6-string person, and I've experimented with 8 strings, and I just don't find them that comfortable. Whereas the baritone thing, for me, it feels like a guitar, it feels like home, but it's just like a warmer home, if that makes sense, because you're lower and everything sounds a bit bigger. So the Squier Paranormal Cabronita, whatever it's called, was my first ever baritone guitar, and I've been really enjoying that, and my friend Jake was borrowing it. So this Squier Bass 6 came up, and I thought that's a similar-ish thing. What this is more like a bass than the baritone, so it's tuned like a bass, but it's E to E, and it's a 30-inch scale, so maybe a shortish scale for an actual bass guitar, but for a guitar that would be extremely long. The same scale length as the Antigua offset thing. This is strung with flat wounds, and it feels like a very big guitar, or like a small bass. And I think when you listen to it playing, if you try and strum chords on it, it doesn't really work so well. It's all a little bit woofy and woolly as it is. But I think you could probably mod that and kind of tune it up, and you wouldn't really have any issues, given that I think it's roughly the same kind of spec as that Antigua Jazzmaster that I've been talking about. So there's no reason you couldn't put some lighter strings on it and tune it up, from what I can imagine anyway. So yeah, it's pretty well built. Surprisingly, all of these things are, and I'm not quite sure what it is that's in the water wherever Squier are building these. This one's Indonesian. Again, the Sire guitar that I've got is Indonesian, and I think maybe they've got some really decent people building these things, because I can't really find anything much wrong with it as an instrument that you can get for, you know, less than 400 quid. I'm super impressed. So as I say, this feels like sort of a bass, but with a smaller kind of neck maybe. And certainly if you pluck it, it feels a lot like a bass. I guess because it's not exactly just a full-on straight-ahead bass, people are more comfortable with the idea of maybe trying to play some heavier stuff on it and use it like a down-tuned guitar. And I think it can do that thing kind of sort of well. But yeah, if played like a traditional bass, it is kind of very bassy. This one is built in China, and it's quite heavy, this particular one, but again, very well made, and I find it difficult to find any real faults with it. The intonation is occasionally a bit squiffy, so I don't know, maybe on yours you might also need a setup. I sort of have a feeling that these are becoming a little bit difficult to get hold of. There aren't, you know, loads of baritone guitars that look kind of good in the lower end of the market, and there's not ones that don't look obviously sort of super metal, if that makes sense. That's why I'm sort of crowning Squier as the king of this kind of thing for now. Until it is that I find someone else who's doing better stuff. So if you've got baritone guitars that you recommend, or, you know, this kind of thing that you think I should really check out, if I could, that don't cost a bomb, then let me know in the comments. I'm really enjoying just playing with them and seeing what happens, and, you know, occasionally getting heavy, or with the baritone occasionally just trying to play like a ballad and stuff. But yeah, I'm really enjoying them. Hopefully you are sort of enjoying what I'm doing with them too. I'm going to carry on doing my normal thing alongside it as well. But you know, occasionally I don't think it hurts to get a little bit heavy, especially in 2020. Thank you for stopping by. If you did want to check out my EP, I think the link will be somewhere below. I'm using the HX Stomp for all of these tones. You can get all those presets for £5. Literally all of my HX Stomp presets. There's hundreds, well, over 100 of them, and that'll be in the description. And the backing tracks and all that stuff I'll put up on Patreon for those who want them, if you just comment below saying that you want to check out these backings. But thank you for stopping by, and yeah, if you get a chance to check out one of these, I think it'd be worth doing. They're kind of a different experience to playing a normal guitar, and not a bad one. Cheers.